Yeah, that's how it's going. I got this statistic for you that you might not find surprising, but I'm just gonna read it. Data indicates for every dollar spent on sports betting, there is a corresponding $2 decrease in net investment. Over the past 2 to 3 years, net investments have dropped by 14% in areas where sports betting has been legalized. So, just to wrap that up real quick, it's saying Americans spend more money on sports betting than they do on actual investing. What's your thoughts about that?
I believe it. I think I think it goes to how most people want to get rich quick, rather than get rich for sure, like we talk about. I I see it. I see it with people. No matter how much I talk about, investing or stocks or anything, I still see people buying scratch offs. I still see people talking about going to the casino. One in some of the sayings I hate the most is like, we all just hope we hit the lottery. Like, no, you hope that you can hit your own lottery if you just dedicate yourself. But I see that. I really believe it. I think it's in people's lazy behavior to prefer gambling on the hope of hitting that one chance of making a lot of money rather than just actually putting in work and doing it. But what do you
Yeah, and yeah, I believe that also. You hit the nail. You hit the nail right on the head. With people want the lazy way out. I mean, for them, and I see it all the time. People have more knowledge of what football teams are doing. Football players, they know the football players' salary, they know where they're from, they know what position they play, they know all the historical stats. They know that more than they know what's in their 401k. I mean, people talk about parlays and betting the spreads and all that because they want that quick action. They want that quick action that they think one day that's gonna get them to the mountaintop. And the reason why, and I'm a sports guy, I like sports, but the reason why I never got into sports betting because, of course, in my degenerate days of gambling in back rooms in Texas, I met a sports bookie, and he was running the books, and he said, "Sports betting is for suckers." That's why all of Vegas has sports books because these people will bet on the most outlandish things, and at the end of the day, the house always wins. So from there on, I never wanted to sports bet. And I wasn't thinking about investing at the time. I'm looking for another edge, to help to scratch my degenerate itch. But I never picked it up because somebody that's in the know knew something that I didn't know, and they told me. Like he said, parlays is a sucker's bet. Don't sports bet. He told me those things. And remember, he runs a business on trying to get people to sports bet. And he was like, everything that I told you, I tell the people, but they don't listen. They want that itch. They want to bet on their team. They want to think that they beat somebody. And he said most of them not winning at life. So they got to say they are winning at something. So they have to scratch that itch. And then and then it was something interesting that he told me weeks later when I ran into him. He said, "You think that people sports bet because, or they get addicted to sports betting and gambling because of the wins?" He was like, "No, they get addicted to that adrenaline right before they lose." He was like, "Oh, they think they're gonna win. They think they're gonna win. Then, oh, they lost." He's like, "That adrenaline hit that they get right there, right before they lose. That's the reason why they keep coming back. Because they'd be like, oh, I'm so close. I gotta do it again. I gotta do it again." And then they win. And then usually when they win, they think they did something big, but all the money that they won was it don't cover all the losses that they had before. And then they just keep staying in the cycle over and over and over again. And just think if most people is more money going to sports betting than investing. So who's winning? The same people that the middle class, the poor, and the upper middle class complain about. The people who own the assets, the people who own the sports book, the Adelstein family, the Wynn family, MGM, ESPN Sports Bet, uh, what else out there? DraftKings, all those people are the ones that win. The people that got assets. So you're giving your money to them, and then you're complaining because they got too much money, but you gave it to them when you could easily, like you said, give it to yourself. And then that get rich quick. And again, people don't get rich from sports betting unless they do something insane, like a 15 team parlay and they put, 20, 30, $50 on there, $1,000 on there, and then they can make a million. But to get 15 things right on a sports day in sports, all in line, that's very hard. You got a better chance of hitting that than winning the lottery, but it's still, you still got to get hit by lightning. And that's the thing that they don't get. These people that sports bet, they're not making a lot of money. The house is, because it's so many millions of people investing. I mean, I say investing, put money in there. But if they just took that money and then put it into, index fund, if they sit there and research an individual stock as much as they research the individual team when they do those sports bets, then they would be in the same position. Over time, of course, but I think it's that adrenaline, that dopamine of, hey, I want to beat somebody because I'm losing that light. And most people in America is losing that light. Let's just be honest. So that's their way of getting around it.
Yeah, that was really well said. And I think I mean, we always say you gotta find a way to capitalize on off of people. I mean, I don't knock the guy. I mean, that's how I've met quite a few, people that, have their own businesses on certain things, and that's how they view their consumers. I mean, it's just, how he said they're suckers. I mean, you regardless of what you think of your consumers, I mean, you got to go where you know that people are going, where people are putting their money at. And yeah, the house always wins. They're always going to be the one capitalizing. And like you said, the DraftKings, all the other sports betting um enterprises and stuff, those are the ones that are winning. And it's not going to be the gamblers. And people, they get addicted to that, whether it be addicted to something like that, gambling, or they get addicted to things like people that have addictions to shopping. So then you see all these e-commerce companies that are booming. You go where people are addicted. I mean, you go where people cannot resist but put their money into it. I mean, I think that that same concept goes for everything, even like Apple, or how we always talk about how Apple has found a way to make people believe that an iPhone is a necessity. You got to go to where, you know, as the investor, you got to put your money, as an investor or the owner, you got to go to where the consumer cannot live without you, basically. And I think, I think it's, his strategy, the guy you're talking about, it's very smart, but it's, yeah, it's crazy to see that people have this mindset. It's like they're like cattle, like just like follow in line to what they hope will get them to big dreams. That's why I always, and you do too, but we always talk about take control of your own life. Stop putting your fate in the hands of something or someone else. You're hoping that this gambling, that this game you're gambling on will get you to win big or something, but it, it never will. It never will. You'll just be feeding the house.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing that, and you sit there and like this stat just said, for every dollar spent on sports betting, there is a corresponding $2 decrease in net investments. So,
And so when
so
you
that
say that,
means
sorry, go
good,
ahead, go ahead.
good.
No, so when you say that, my thoughts while you were speaking too is like, if there's in this case 200% more going towards gambling rather than investing, so could this mean future generations are more focused on gambling rather than putting money into their 401ks? Where can we collect that money? Well, companies like DraftKings that are listed on the public stock exchange, go to where people are putting their money. If people prefer to gamble rather than invest, you can collect that money. You can go and put money into the investments that are going to benefit off of people that are gambling. And this is only
Yeah,
benefit.
the MGMs. The
Yeah.
MGMs, the Las Vegas Sands, the Winds, the it's a couple Chinese ones out there, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. But yeah.
And I mean, I know I've heard a lot of the more so the younger generation talk about DraftKings before they were publicly listed, but um, if the younger generation especially is leaning more towards that, I mean, that's a lot of money to pick up because if that's going to be the new era of, people stop investing in their retirement and put more money into this, then that's going to be big.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be big, but the thing is, people ain't even putting enough money into their retirement to even retire. So their retirement plan is sports. I mean, for the life of me, and again, I was a sports junkie. When you talked about football, I could tell you everything about it. Um, but again, as I get older, get more mature, now it's hard. I'm hard pressed to sit there and watch a whole football game. Uh, like I've talked to people and they know every stat, everything, every contract, they know the salary cap, they know the players' baby mamas, they know where they live, they know what car they drive, they know all this. And I just think if you use a tenth of that energy to invest, to gain knowledge on investing, you'll be in a better situation. But these people are total degenerates. And then I used to have this gentleman that I used to talk to, and he wanted to argue and debate about sports all the time. And I said, look, I can't sit here and talk to you about another man's money when you don't have any. I was like, why am I arguing about a millionaire and how much money they're making and how their money and how their contract is going to fit in the salary cap when you sitting here and struggling and don't know how to pay? I was like, it don't even make sense. And then of course, when I brought up that topic, then it's, oh, you think you're better than everybody else. No, I'm just pointing out an obvious thing here. You be worried about grown men and the money that they're making. You more worried about that than the money that you're making, the money that you have to cover your necessities. How does it make sense? And so let's just say that relationship ended. So, but yeah, it's a crazy thing out there.
That being said, guys, if you have any questions or comments, let us know. Don't forget to hit the like button, share this video, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.